and welcome back to my Let's Challenge of a BioShock. In the last episode, we finished off Sander Cohen's Twisted World in Fort Frolic, and now we are here in Hephaestus, sort of like the engine room of Rapture.
We best keep to our knitting.
As you can see,
It's time to either run the table or go home empty. Ryan's got the genetic key to Rapture. We get that from him, and we get out of this hellhole. We don't, then you and I are ghosts. Now,
so as you can see, we need to hit down here to Hephaestus. Oh no, that's where we are.
It's time to finish this.
So, we have Atlas, naturally, telling us that we need to go and take on Ryan.
I say Cohen's lost his touch, if you knew him when. When he used to believe in the work, in the struggle. And now, he rots in that Neverland, waiting for someone to come and tell him he's still got it. I suppose that's why he let you live.
Ryan's got some sort of feelings towards Cohen, as we see. We will hack here. And probably find out that the hacking is once more stepped up in difficulty. Meaning we're going to need some more engineering tonics. Although this one is fine. Thankfully, but I'm pretty sure there are harder ones around. Okay, so, I mean, I use the shotgun a lot, and it's upgraded, so we'll buy that. We do not have an awful lot of money. It is worth keeping that in mind. Okay, so Hephaestus, it is quite a beautiful area. Like I said, it's like the engine room of Rapture. We sort of see all of the various workings and control measures that there are in order to try and keep everything running. You see a lot of explosive barrels, stuff like that. Read of you. Nope, they're not. So we do have a Houdini. An abysmal shot with the shotgun. Hold on. There we go. As you can see, the shotgun remains being super powerful. Shotgun is great still. The crossbow is still ridiculously powerful as well, and we'll probably turn to use that quite a lot as well. This is another area, I think, with 3 little sisters, it is. So, the first one of those should give us another big boost to our Atom storage, which is really good, as always. We need the Atom. Atom allows us to upgrade, and make the game easier.
You can taste it, can't you? Andrew Ryan.
Okay, so... Here's Splice's murmuring. Who are you? Leadhead. Yeah, good. Good to get rid of leadheads, obviously. They can be such pains. Chemical thrower is always a good weapon to continually get ammo for. So yeah, I think I might still need to research some things for turrets and stuff like that. I need to check just with everything, make sure that, I'm, nice and maxed out when it comes to that. As we do get a new diary from searching in there.
Nationalised Fontaine Futuristics. He owns it now, lock, stock and barrel. For the good of the city, he says. He'll break it up in due time, he says. I've resigned from the council and lodged me letter of protest, but that's just pissing in the wind. It'll be war, I say, unless somebody stops Ryan. Right fast.
So there we see sort of McDonough's sort of gone full circle You know, his arc is almost virtually complete now. You know, he's gone all the way around from believing so much in Andrew Ryan and everything that they were doing down here, and now upon you know, Ryan, because obviously we've been hearing McDonough from like a lot of the most recent a lot of the more recent audio diaries that we've heard from McDonough have all been about the idea that, you know what, we need to showcase that we're not taking, you know, we have no interest in Fontaine's assets, that we need to give it to his, you know, to the will. We need to make sure we respect that. We need to show that we're not just stealing stuff from him. And what, you know, we've seen is that Ryan disagrees with McDonough on those facts. He takes over Fontaine Futuristics, and it became what we now see as where Suchong works. I can't remember exactly what he renamed it to. There's a lot of oil spills in this level for some reason. I guess it's kind of fits the mood, as it were. As we get another audio diary.
I spent the afternoon trying to get as close to Ryan's gate as possible without making a spectacle of myself. He's got it shielded 6 ways till Easter. There's no way into that place. All I got for my trouble was the hairy eyeball from Ryan's splicer mates. What's the reward you get for trying to outsmart the best electrical engineer of our generation?
So there is a new NPC, a new character, and he plays a pretty big part throughout this chapter, and that is Kybers, essentially an Australian engineer who is also down here in Rapture. Sort of took his place around down here in Hephaestus. So there's another security camera up there. So where are we on security camera? Again, this might be slightly different to where we need to be in terms of where I last left it. Can't really do much about that one. I don't think we could hack it, and even if we could, yeah, it's all good. Where are you? I do love these sort of just tiny little scripted events throughout each level where, you know, you have these ominous splicers just making their presence known without, you know, making a huge fuss about it. E-Piper. So yeah, so we're getting lots of frag grenades, but we don't need them. I think we're good to go. So you, come with me. Can we pick that up? No, we can't. So the quarter can of ionic gel is an item that we will actually have to utilize later on in this level. Evidently just not right now. We have a U-invent here. Just, yeah, we can move past it for now. Another healing health station. A lot of those right now.
The worm looks up and sees the face of God. But look around.
I have a feeling we get a large number of splices soon.
They all had mothers, fathers, people who loved them. They got married, got terrified. What makes you think you're any different? I haven't chosen the spot for you on the wall yet, know you have a preference.
So here we have sort of Andrew Ryan's grisly wall of, you know, people who have stood against him, pretty much. Yeah, we can go back. I was just thinking maybe we couldn't, but obviously we can. Sweet. I'm pretty sure as soon as we trigger the switch to try and get into Ryan's office, we're going to have all hell break loose with regards to a huge wave of splicers. And that is why I'm bringing these explosive barrels through into the next area. And even if we don't now, we definitely do in the future have a big battle in this room. So just sort of keeping an eye on it. We use the circuit breaker, but that won't help, essentially. So we need to search for a clue to get into Ryan's area, and that essentially means we actually look at the corpses. So we have this one, which just a unnamed person. We have another audio diary. This one from McDonough. So this is McDonough here.
Let alone a Mason. But this is what things come to. I don't know if killing Mr. Ryan will stop the war, but I know it won't stop while that man breathes. I love Mr. Ryan, but I love Ratchet. If I have to kill one to save the other, so be it.
So you can hear all the splices. I think they're essentially on the other side of the door. You can just hear them muttering away, and it's hard. I'm pretty sure they're just essentially waiting to break in, because we're going to need to go through into the next area. We need to go through one of those doors, and that door is obviously, you know, we've got all of this stuff waiting for us.
What's the difference between a man and a parasite? A man builds, a parasite asks, where's my share? A man creates, a parasite says, what will the neighbors think? A man invents, a parasite says, watch out, or you might tread on the toes of God.
Okay, so we get another tonic, I should say. We'll just auto-hack the safe for now. For some more proximity mines as well. That's another good consideration that I hadn't actually considered. I always forget this, like in the second, when we get to BioShock 2, which I also am hoping to showcase at least at some point on this channel. It's a very, very different game. But it's largely around sort of like protecting small little areas, you know, protecting little sisters and stuff like that. And so setting up proximity mines and things like that are very, very important. So, more dollars from another unnamed corpse. One there. We've got some cigarettes. We get a steel screw. But I think the important one is obviously the one that is labelled, which is this one. And we have Anya Andersdotter.
For 3 weeks, but he finally spilled the beans on how to get to Andrew Ryan. Generate a sympathetic overload in harmonic chord number 3. That's simple. Now all I gotta do is figure out what the hell a sympathetic overload is, and for that matter, a harmonic chord number 3. Piece of cake for an electrical engineer. Too bad I designed ladies' shoes. Gonna go see the grease monkeys left alive in heat loss monitoring. See what I can shake out of their trees.
So there we see Anya Andersdotter, just a sort of, just a small person who's also tried to turn on to Andrew Ryan.
I'd explain the science that renders what you're trying to do impossible, but that would be like playing Mozart for a tree frog.
So obviously, you know, she was saying that, you know, she's had to sleep with some of the people there for a long time, just to get to the point where she can find out what she needs to do.
Rapture is coming back to life.
And now she does know.
Can't you hear the breath returning to her lungs? The shops reopening, the schools humming with the thoughts of young minds. My city will live. My city will thrive. And when that day comes, will use your tombstone for pavement tiles.
God, I just love, I love Ryan's voice actor. I love sort of just the whole malice, and you can just hear so much of how much he just despises you, just in the voice. It is great. So you can see suddenly now the electricity does nowhere near as much damage as it did last time, as it has done previously. Jeez. So yeah, you can start seeing that the enemies start taking a lot more damage, essentially, especially as you go into this particular chapter. Probably a definitive change in terms of just how the game feels. You certainly know that you've been, you know, obviously getting stronger and stronger and stronger as we've been going through all the previous chapters. This is sort of like a proper reality check, and just in terms of sort of being like, you know, I shouldn't have done this, well. Be good, please be good. I'll do. But yeah, you know, we've been getting stronger and stronger, and generally the levels, as you do get stronger, become or feel easier. I would certainly say that Fort Frolic, like, it's one of these weird games where, you know, as you play through it, a lot of the time it gets easier, and this is just a slight hump in the difficulty curve. This is where, you know, you sort of realize that enemies are going to be taking more damage, you're going to need to use different strategies, and yeah, that becomes sort of pretty key. But ultimately, you'll always have more than enough to deal with any situation than the splicers, you know, who are trying to affect you. Apologies for the coughing, by the way. I'm not 100% as it were. So, more beautiful sort of design here in Festus. So we get a nice increase to our bouncer star. We can get so many photos, which is ridiculous. Okay, so we have a nice amount of electric buck. We have a nice amount, well, a small amount of electric gel. Do I think that we have enough right now? Probably not. The easiest way a lot of the time to deal with a lot of this is to essentially get security involved.
Strikes me that Fontaine wasn't overly inconvenienced by his own demise. On New Year's Eve, his wretched splicers come streaming out of the poorhouses and stormed the proverbial barricades. The dead rot in the streets. Johnny and Janie's citizen are lined up round the block for plasmids. Anything to help fend off the rabble.
Okay. Jesus. Yeah, things have changed. Things have definitely changed. I completely forgot about, like, if splicers could, like, infuse themselves. Especially, like, It's a thuggish splicer. I thought thuggish splicers weren't, you know, disappeared, but I'm just wrong. Evidently just very wrong about it. And that's all okay, is it? The fact that it's actually damn difficult. Gonna need to buy some health kits. And hopefully be able to hack this. Yeah, it's good. Just buy it.
Do you guys have any idea there's a war on? If you don't follow proper maintenance of those big daddies, they burn through those R-34s like them eat apple berries, go through penicillin. I've got Atlas's goons hitting us non-stop and 2 dead mechanics just this week. We need to control costs. If I wanted to deal with amateurs, I would have stayed on dry land. Strikes me that Fontaine wasn't overly inconvenienced by his own demise.
I don't know why we actually get to hear the McDonald one again. That was sort of nice
Splicers
thing to
come
do.
streaming out of the poorhouses and stormed the proverbial barricades. Dead right in the streets. Johnny and Jamie Citizen are lined up round the block for plasmids. Anything to help fend off the rabble.
So what's interesting is obviously he talks about the attack on New Year's Day, and that is what you walk in on at the start in that first area where we see at the Kashmir restaurant. They're obviously celebrating New Year's, and it comes from this. You know, they're actually talking about the events that actually occurred then, and it all sort of runs together. So you hear more from Anya.
That's rich. I could have gone along, I suppose. Spliced up. Forgot. I believed in this place. I believed in Ryan. But when it got hard, Ryan didn't believe in rapture. Didn't believe in the Great Chain. He believed in power. And now this place is busto. And my girl is... gone. Worse than gone. One of those... things. So am I an assassin? Well...
So we get a trophy for having 2 fully upgraded weapons. Okay, so auto hack tool, some other things. Obviously, so that was a Houdini. I'm not be sure where he's gone. So we see another quarter can of ionic gel. Essentially, the ionic gel, like I said, is going to be a collectible that we need throughout this area. Do we need to be this low is the question. No, we don't, but this is a collectible. Solid, okay. They've been giving us lots and lots of lots of frag grenades, so why the hell shouldn't I be using it? Let's be honest. We've got that.
To build a city at the bottom of the sea, insanity. But where else could we be free from the clutching hands of parasites? Where else could we build an economy that they would not try to control, a society that they would not try to destroy? It was not impossible to build rapture at the bottom of the sea. It was impossible to build it anywhere else.
Oh, Ryan's just so good. And obviously that's like quotes from Ryan that you've seen through the loading screens or things like that, you know, and and now you're finally finding the relevant audio diaries that actually apply to them, which I think is really, really cool. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna get a bunch more Adam soon when we actually take on the Big Daddy. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that's what you're meant to see. You're meant to see that Houdini's essentially been tampering with it. But as you can see, it's a duff. Not all of them are though, so it's just yeah, a trick vending machine essentially. So we need to head this way, which will take us to heat loss monitoring. And essentially we just start following Anya's trail. As we see that the alarm's been triggered. I cannot see for the life of me where things are. I'm pretty sure that's, yeah, these are scripted events, I seem to remember it now. I don't remember exactly what happens here, but... So you can see the lead heads are starting to take a huge amount more damage, which is just annoying. Stick to that.
Imagine the will it took to create a place like this. And what have you built? Nothing. You could only loot, break. You're not a man. You're just a termite at Versailles.
A termite at Versailles. What a metaphor. Oh. Sorry, I just sometimes, you know, you go back through the game, and obviously there are obviously parts to every game that you know, if you played it for a while and you love that game, there are things that you'll always remember about that game. Little events, little stories, little character moments, etc., stuff like that. But then what's great about this sort of game is that, you know, we can come back to it and suddenly, you know, these are things that, you know, I don't remember, but are equivalently also still damn amazing to sort of, you know, to revisit. Don't worry, don't worry. I'm tempted to battle him because of all of the explosives that I can throw. And the fact that he's a big daddy means that he actually has to come towards me. Sorry, a bouncer, I should say. Put that there. Oh, yeah, I forgot it attaches to where you stand, essentially. So... Okay, so we got pretty lucky there. I think essentially he swiped us and we triggered electric shock, and there was also the explosive barrel around, and thankfully that wasn't deemed enough damage to actually kill us, which was very helpful. So we will rescue. Always key to hit the rescue button. I did think there has been certainly at least one playthrough I've done of the game where I've accidentally hit
Seen such terrible things and done worse myself. Thank you for reminding me that the light of the world has not yet been snuffed out. I am sending a little one to help you on your way.
You know, there's always been, at least I think that I have certainly once accidentally hit Harvest when I wanted to rescue them all. So, Gatherer's Garden is just here, and that's what's important. Wait a second. Yes. And there we go, we get fully researched Little Sister, which is really good. That's obviously as element of the game which isn't necessarily, you know, you can actually run out of them because, you know, they aren't always there. It's good to actually have that. Okay, so we can get another engineering tonic, which allows us to I think that's key, that one. And I think we'll also get a physical tonic slot. Where's the one? That one. We want medical expert, definitely. We already have medical expert plus, but we are, you know, we're getting more and more health as we go through the game, and obviously having more health is great, but it means that those health packs that you're using don't fill you up exactly as much as you need them to. And so it's good to be able to boost that. I needed a bunch of first aid kits, so I think that makes sense. So, one Big Daddy down in this area, and we didn't even use the security. We'll have another one coming, obviously we've got the one that just circles around the big area at the top, and we should be able to quite easily lure him into the security camera that's midway up there. And then from there you can, you know, just wreck shop. You can just throw a security, whatever the security plasmid is called on him, and then he'll be terrorized by the security for a while and lose lots of damage, lose lots of health, which is obviously incredibly useful. Yeah, you can see that we're always maxed out. Like, machine gun rounds are generally some of the weakest. Like, the machine gun and the pistol are just weapons that I just never really use. Frankly, there's just almost very little point to using them a lot of the time. Okay, so we'll hack here. We want to start thinking, how soon do we want to start thinking about calling this episode to an end? Keep that in mind. Yeah, so hacking seems really, really quite simple now, which is excellent. It's just, you know, it's obviously a very reliable way that we can get lots and lots of you know, useful things like friendly security, etc. Lovely. Okay, so question is, where do we need to go? So we need to go through there. We've got another diary.
Let me tell you something about people and all them university types. They're so smart, except when they eat. I put a couple of drinks in him last week, and before I could say boo, he's telling me he's got the code to his office keyed to the date of Australia Day. Now every week I slip in real gentle and nick a buck or two from the till. The Aussie never notices, and I ain't about to tell him. Seems like there's all kind of crazy stuff back there. Maybe one day I'll get more ambitious.
So that's Pablo Navarro, another character. I think we've had one audio diary from him already about this sort of area. Oh, shot. There's a Houdini as well, obviously. Down goes the lead head. He's up above us, I think. Okay. So the game does actually require you to know the date of Australia Day. I'll be honest, I can't remember. Damn. Are you just going to stay up there, mate? There we go. Jeez, now come here. That was not worth it, but oh well. Okay, so. What do we have here? Steel tip bolts. That is why the crossbow. The crossbow's so great also, just because, you know, you get replenishing ammo. Like, what more could you want from a weapon than to get replenishing ammo all the time? You see more ghosts? Headshot. So I'm pretty sure that was someone killing someone using the electrocuting them essentially. More napalm, more beer. We can once more hear more splices going around with that "the Jesus loves me" sort of line. Okay, so we have a new security evasion 2, so that means, yeah, cameras and turrets take longer to see us. That's really not that useful, actually, especially because we can use the security against enemies.
She was asking about magnetic locks and some such. I played it coy, but she took wise. After she showed me round her backyard, I gave her directions to Keyboard's tool shop. Rapture's gone to hell, but sometimes the great change still cuts you a break.
So there you see that, obviously Pablo's talking about Anya again, and we see that Anya once more used her feminine wiles, let's say, to get information so that she could try and assassinate Ryan. Obviously, we know how it ended up for Anya, with her body draped as a trophy in front of Andrew Ryan's door. So, sure it doesn't work for everyone. Okay, so we'll disable this electric current. There we go, so that now no longer is electrocuting into there. You know, leaving the water impassable. Now we can drop down.
Before the final rat has eaten the last grab of you, Rapture will have returned. I will lead a parade. Who was that, they'll say, as they point to the sad shape hanging on my wall. Who was that?
Okay, so we get another.
Begged Mr. Ryan to hand Fontaine's heuristics over to Atlas's boys as a peace offering. But the stupid sod won't listen to reason. Instead, he's just splicing his mob up, giving them more and tougher plasmids. There's an arms race on here in Rapture, but it's not about who can build the best guns and the biggest bombs. It's about who can become less of a man and more of a monster.
We see more of McDonough, and you know, sort of. I think that kind of just fills the final step in as we finally see that Ryan's fully lost. You know, in terms of believing that Rapture can be saved in that sense, and instead has now just decided, no, we need to combat the the aggression of Fontaine with his own sort of aggression, with his own splicers, with their own plasmids, stuff like that. Oh, okay. Hello. Damn, that wasn't good. Thank you for saying that for so long. I needed that. Don't know how you have 2 spider splicer organs, I'll be honest, but does not matter to me. We get the health. I think once we get outside Keyburz's office, we will call this episode to an end.
A man builds a city at the bottom of the sea. That's a marvel. Another man happens to be on a plane that crash lands on the same city in the middle of the ocean. Why, that sounds more like
And then we see that Ryan is starting to wonder, how on earth did we get here? And, you know, whether there's more to our story than meets the eye. Adding that little bit of doubt in your mind. It's great. I love it so much. Okay, proximity mine. We don't. Apparently we've already got more than enough. We'll just auto-hack. That is some good ammo, some very good ammo to get. Okay, so Houdini gets murdered by the security, and we have Big Daddy somewhere, probably above us, I would think. So we could take on the Big Daddy one more time. Do we want to do that is a question. Depends if he comes around this way. If he comes around this way, we will start laying into him with our security. If not, then... how much light can back that? Oh, that's a fair amount. He okay? Nope, he's down. Okay, so another one where I think that was slightly more luck than judgment. Just sort of running backwards, eventually landed in this sort of pool of oil. And I guess the spark from being hit, like electric flesh has its uses. It certainly does have its uses, and it seems like we're making the most of those uses right now because it's working out for us quite well. So I think what we'll do is we'll head down to the Gatherer's Garden, get our final tonic, and then we'll call this episode to an end. I miss way too often with the shotgun, frankly. Okay, so there we go. We'll get the combat tonic. And what we can do is... I think electric flash works here. There seems to be, if anything, there seem to be electrified enemies around, and it also means that we'll do more damage with our electric bark, our electric gel, which is great for Big Daddies. So, hope you have enjoyed this episode of my Let's Challenge of BioShock, and hope you join me on the next where we'll make our way to Keyburz's office and start finding out how on earth we're going to open the door to Andrew Ryan. Hope to see you then.